Alright everyone, good morning. Today is Sunday, June 23rd, 2024 at 07:32. And today we've got our day 1 outlook to look at, so let's see what we've got for today's severe weather. Oh yeah, this concludes a variety of states here. So it looks like we got a slight risk stretching from Kentucky through West Virginia, Ohio, into Pennsylvania and Maryland, which includes my area here. So I am under a slight risk. New Jersey, Delaware, up into New York State. Oh, wait, here's an enhanced risk. I didn't even see that. We do have an enhanced risk over Vermont, New Hampshire, a little bit of Maine, but mainly Massachusetts, and a little bit of New York State. So anyway, but yes, the slight continues through New York State through Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And of course, the marginal extends all the way out from Arkansas, all the way through a little bit of Missouri, through Tennessee, Kentucky, and a teeny bit of Illinois, Indiana, down over into West Virginia and Virginia, up through Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York, pretty much up into Maine, down through the Rhode Island, and down through the coast. We also do have a marginal out here in a little bit of Kansas, a little bit of Colorado and Nebraska. We also have a marginal up here in North Dakota, or excuse me, Montana and North Dakota. So yeah, let's see what we've got for today's severe weather. We got Worcester, Manchester, Lowell, Nashua, and Lawrence under a enhanced risk. We have New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Boston, and Washington, D.C. under a slight risk, and Columbus, Memphis, Nashville, Cleveland, and Cincinnati under a marginal. So that's today's risks. Let's see what we have got for a tornado risk. So it looks like mainly tornado risk is going to be in the 2%, which looks like Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, a little bit of Maryland, up into New York State, in New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, up into Maine. So we do have a 10%, it looks like, in New York State, Massachusetts. It looks like Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine also have a 5%, and also a 10% in Massachusetts, a little bit in New York State, but mainly Vermont and New Hampshire. So that's today's tornado risk. Let's see what we've got going on with the tornado risk, who's in what. So Worcester, Springfield, Manchester, Lowell, and Nashua have a 10%. Boston, Cambridge. Okay, I just got mixed up. Okay, so Boston, Cambridge, Brookton, Albany, and Lynn have a 5%, and New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Newark, and Buffalo have a 2%. So definitely I would say up here, there could be an EF1, maybe even an isolated EF2 tornado, especially up here in New England, but we'll see. But I would say down further into the mid-Atlantic, in Ohio and West Virginia, I would definitely say maybe an isolated EF1 tornado could touch down, if at all possible. Now here's the real stuff. So here's the damaging wind stuff. So of course, we got the 10% stretching from Kentucky all the way through Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York State, up into Connecticut and Rhode Island, Massachusetts. You can see it hits up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We do have a 30% of wind damage across parts of New York State, Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire. We do have a 5% basically extending out even further into Arkansas, Tennessee, a little bit of Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, even into the coast of Delmarva, and even into Delaware, up into New England, so even touching Maine. So that's what that 5% is. This 5% is touching a little bit of Colorado, out into Kansas and Nebraska, and this one out here in Montana and North Dakota. So let's see what we have for today's risk. So looks like we got Worcester, Springfield, Manchester, Lowell, and Nashua under a 30%. New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Boston, and Washington, D.C. under a 15%. And Columbus, Memphis, Nashville, Cleveland, and Cincinnati having a 5%. So I definitely would say, especially in my area where the 10% is, and basically up. We could see a 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, especially up here where those storms are more likely. We could see some 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts possible, but it doesn't mean it can't include parts of the yellow 15% area. But 5% area, I would definitely say 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are possible for you. So that's definitely what we've got going on. And then today's hail risk. Let's see. We got a 5% extending from Kentucky through Ohio, a little bit of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York State, a little bit in New Jersey, Connecticut, into Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We also have a 5% out here in North Dakota and Montana. So let's see what we got for today's hail risk. We got Columbus, Boston, Pittsburgh, Lexington, Fayette, and Akron under a 5%. And definitely cities out here also under 5%. So I definitely would say 1 to 2 inch hail could be possible. Maybe a baseball size hail could be possible, but I could definitely be wrong. And I feel like it might only be 1 to 2 inch hail. But you never know what the heck could happen. You know, any storm could do whatever the heck it does. But anyway, here's what the Storm Prediction Center says today. Let's see. So it says a summary. Scattered damaging wind gusts and a few tornadoes are likely across parts of the northeast into the Ohio and Tennessee valleys this afternoon and evening. Isolated severe storms are also possible over parts of the central and northern plains. So that is today's severe weather. So especially my area, you know, stay safe because I am under a slight risk. That's a 2 out of 5. Especially in this area here, 3 out of 5, enhanced risk up in New England. So I really hope you do stay safe, stay weather aware, and keep an eye on the sky today.